Kathy Lee, how I'd love to lay you down.
This is Chef in his prime, and this is his absolutely grisly death. But how did we go from chocolate salty Riz to being actually impaled? Well, stick around and find out. Chef appears in the very first episode, Cartman Gets an Probe. It starts with Cartman sharing his weird dream about being visited by aliens, but after running into Chef, they realize it might have actually happened.
Say, did any of you children see the alien spaceship last night?
Huh? Yeah, Fat Boy saw it.
Kyle probes further, excuse the pun, to which Chef explains about aliens and the weird things they like to do.
What's a probe?
That's when they put this big metal hoopajou up your butt.
Yeah, I don't think there's an entry for a hoopajou in any medical journal. Chef warns the children that Cartman may be under the aliens' mind control. They decide to keep an eye on him, but as the school bus drives away, Kyle sees two of the aliens kidnapping Ike. Cartman's having troubles of his own, however, as his farts are shooting literal fire, and I don't think it's because of a breakfast burrito. The boys turn to the one man they know can help them, although I don't think he understands the situation.
Chef, have you ever had something happen to you, but nobody believed you?
Children, that's a problem we've all had to face at some time or another. I'm gonna make love to you, woman. Gonna lay you down by the fire.
Yeah, that's not gonna help, dude. Once Chef discovers Ike's been captured, he tells the boys to go find him. But that's when they discover what the visitors from outer space did to Cartman.
It's some kind of symbiotic metamorphosis device. Visitors want to communicate with us.
Yep, it turns out Chef knows a lot more than just cooking and women. Chef helps the gang escape and use the probe to call the aliens back. With the visitors distracted by a group of cows, Kyle manages to get his little brother to jump off the ship before they can take off with him. But poor Cartman ain't so lucky. After the aliens take off again, Chef's left disappointed that he didn't get to learn about them. But it didn't last long.
Wait! Where are you going, alien visitors?
Well, Chef, where's this amazing thing you're gonna show us?
It's in the bedroom, ladies. Come on in.
There's a real irony that Chef is fascinated with aliens, as the voice actor Isaac Hayes was also a believer in real life. In fact, that's partially the reason why he walked away from the role, but we'll get to that later. Fans of the smooth-talking Chef didn't have to wait long before his next appearance. In the third episode, Weight Gain 4000, he returns to share his worldly knowledge with the Southpark boys. The episode starts with Cartman winning a contest for writing a paper about protecting the planet. Surely there's been a mix-up, right? Everyone's getting excited about the presentation of his prize, including Chef.
The mayor just called and asked me to sing at the ceremony.
Well, that's an interesting choice of entertainment. But maybe all the other musicians in South Park were busy that day. As the award will be given by Kathy Lee Gifford, the mayor suggests that Cartman get in shape for the award since he'll be on TV.
Listen, I have a nice body, and I want to show it off. You got that? You've got to weigh 90 pounds. I'm up to 94. Thank you very much.
That's exactly how I act after I've had my first salad in weeks. Cartman starts taking the weight gain formula, which he thinks will instantly make him stronger, but what he doesn't realize is that to bulk up, you have to actually exercise. The day of the ceremony soon comes around. Cartman looks like the size of a fracking house, and Chef is ready to perform for Lee Gifford and the rest of the crowd.
How I'd love to lay you down and lick every inch of your body with my tongue. Kathy Lee, you're my fantasy.
What? And this is why you have rehearsals first. But something tells me Chef isn't too upset, as his song actually works.
How about a little more of that good lovin'?
Damn, woman. I just gave you sweet lovin' 5 minutes ago. Were you trying to kill me?
Ah, now I see why he only sings seductive songs. It's his superpower. Up until this point, Chef was nothing more than a helpful guide and an nymphomaniac, but by episode 7 of the first season, fans got to see how helpful he is in a crisis. The first Halloween episode of South Park came with Pink Eye, which sees 2 Russian astronauts crashing their satellite onto South Park, right on top of Kenny. It should have been a classic "they killed Kenny" moment, but things take a strange turn from there.
So then the necrophiliac says, if this ain't a cadaver, then Ah! Hey!
I think Kenny did us all a favor by interrupting that joke. The next day, zombie Kenny turns up at the bus stop, but he's looking far worse for wear. Shortly after, the virus begins spreading further, but everyone thinks it's just Pink Eye, but Chef isn't so convinced.
Symptoms include a complete loss of heart functions, blood pressure, lung activity, and sticky, puffy eyes.
Peek out my ass. I've seen this kind of thing before.
First aliens, now zombies. I want to see him in an X-Files spin-off. The Chef Files has a ring to it. Later that night, the kids get ready to go trick-or-treating, including Kenny, who smells as bad as he looks. But Chef is too busy trying to convince the town that the sickness isn't Pink Eye.
Who was the first person to come in here with the sickness?
It was the mortician and his assistant at the morgue.
Chef rushes to the mayor's office to try and get help, but after they laugh him out of the office, he decides it's time to take things into his own hands.
Trinkets! Ah!
Get off my property, you zombie bastard!
No, Chef! No!
So yeah, Chef realizes the boys are zombies, and he explains how the infestation works. They beg their mentor to help them, and they head to the morgue to find out what the hell's going on. But they have company, and things don't end well for Chef.
Chef!
I'm gonna make love. Even when I'm dead, my body might get cold, but it's always hot in my bed.
Well, that's an original take. A zombie outbreak that turns you into MJ. The boys find out that if they kill the first zombie, then all the other ones will turn back to normal, which means poor Kenny gets killed for the second time in one episode. Oh, make that 3 times. As we've seen, Chef is the go-to guy when it comes to fighting the supernatural, and when a group of mutant turkeys turns up, he's ready to help the boys once again. The episode Starvin' Marvin starts with the boys watching the new Terrence and Phillip Thanksgiving episode when it's interrupted by a commercial for starving children in Africa. The kids aren't interested in donating at first, but once they discover they get a free sports watch, they can't call fast enough. While the kids at Southpark Elementary argue about helping the poor, something unexpected happens.
Second. What the hell is going on?
I guess the turkeys have finally decided to fight back. It's the episode where turkeys go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. Shoutouts to anyone who got that reference. So it turns out that the crazy genetic scientists tried to create turkeys for Thanksgiving, but something went wrong and now they're rampaging around town. The gang isn't too bothered as their watch finally arrives, along with a surprising guest.
That was cool! Yeah, how do you make those clicking sounds? What's your name, dude? He said his name is Marvin. Darvin Marvin.
Oh man, they won't get away with this today! Maybe any other day, but not today! Meanwhile, the mutant turkeys are wreaking havoc and Chef's called in to help.
Now tell me what you see.
Well, I'm no biologist. I'd say it looks like turkey DNA.
Precisely.
Turns out the turkeys are growing way too quickly and soon they'll take over the entire town. It seems too late as they attack, but Chef makes a call to arms to get everyone to fight back.
Today, you fight for your city. You fight for your honor. Turkeys will continue to push until they have taken everything from us.
An epic battle between bird and human kicks off, and with their fearless leader kicking butt and most likely thinking up a recipe for turkey casserole, the battle ends.
We saved Thanksgiving.
But all those poor turkeys, they're all dead.
Every turkey died. Not every turkey truly lived.
Wise words, Chef, wise words. And the icing on the cake, Starvin' Marvin has a huge pile of giant turkeys to take back home. And it's not just supernatural or mutated creatures Chef has to help fight. Sometimes it's power-crazed celebrities in giant robot forms. In Mecha Streisand, Kyle finds a strange artifact with the students at Southpark Elementary search for ancient arrowheads. Long story. Actually, that is the story. But it's soon revealed that the item is actually called the Triangle of Zinthar, and Barbara Streisand is hunting it down. In order to save the world from some unknown evil, a movie critic named Leonard Maltin turns up asking for Chef's help.
Chef, it is of the utmost importance that you tell me where those little boys from the news report on TV are.
Why do you care?
Yeah, going into a school asking where the little boys are isn't a good look, dude. It's not long before Streisand turns up looking for the item, which she plans to pair with the other one she already has. With no time to spare, Chef and Maltin rush to track the boys down and hide the triangle, with Maltin explaining why it's so important to stop her.
If Babs gets a hold of that other triangle, she will fulfill her prophecy and become the most threatening thing ever known to mankind. Mecha Streisand.
Mega Streisand?
What happens when both triangles come together? She becomes Mecha Streisand, a Godzilla-type robot with a super unflattering nose. They first try to find Streisand's mansion, but once they fail and realize she already has the boys, they rush back to Southpark, but it's too late.
The Diamond of Pantheos is complete!
And so, just weeks after the attack of mutant genetic creatures, zombies, and Thanksgiving turkeys, South Park has managed to rebuild itself. Oh, god damn it, not again!
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky. When Chef and Martin return, they find Mecha Streisand wreaking havoc, so they have no choice but to face her head on.
That thing just beat the crap out of Leonard Maltin and Sidney Poitier.
I can't let Barbara Streisand do this to the entire world.
After some epic, albeit weird robot fighting, Streisand is sent flying into space and South Park is saved. So, for a while, Chef's antics in the bed sheets weren't a focus while he was busy saving the town. But in the season 1 finale, Cartman's mom is a dirty. We get to see that Chef has always been a ladies' man. unfortunately for Cartman. In the episode, Cartman starts acting a little strange.
Would you like some tea, Cloud Frog? Yes, please, Eric. Why are you so cool? I don't know, Cloud Frog. I just am.
Hey, maybe he just likes playing Tea Party with the stuffed friends? It turns out he's just acting weird because he wants to know who his father is. At first, his mom tells him it's Chief Running Water, but it's later revealed that she also went with, you guessed it, Chef.
I'm gonna open up my own restaurant here.
How exciting! Would you care to put your tongue in my mouth?
Baby, you cut right to the chase, don't you?
I'm plastered.
Well, I think he's met his match. After that, Cartman thinks he's an African American, but Chef bursts his bubble when he reveals that his mom also went with someone else at the barn dance. Or does this count as toe?
Garrison, what the hell are you doing?
You're drunk, Mr. Hat.
The parties in South Park are wild. I hope he washed that puppet afterwards. It turns out that Miss Cartman has slept with pretty much everyone in town, including the entire Denver Broncos team. It must suck for any kid who doesn't know who their father is. I would know. And probably even worse when their mother doesn't know either. I wouldn't. In the episode Summer Sucks, the people of South Park are getting into the 4th of July spirit by lighting the largest snake firework ever. The problem is they didn't think it through, and the huge fire begins churning out smoke and ash.
Kenny, watch out!
That was lucky.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastards!
Never mind. The snake continues to blaze, with it expected to burn out in a year. The entire town tries to put the fire out, but it's no use. While all this is going on, however, Chef is blissfully unaware as he's enjoying his vacation in Aruba.
You and me and her, simultaneous you and you, simultaneous loving, baby.
Well, that brings a new meaning to an all-inclusive holiday. The boys manage to call him, but he refuses to help them, to put it more nicely than he did. The snake continues to spread and burn everything it touches, but after Jimbo and Ned arrive with some supercharged fireworks, things kind of just sort themselves out.
Hey, look! We blew up the snake!
Well, that was lucky. Maybe this is what they mean by fighting fire with fire. The people of South Park try to make the most of the situation by pretending the ash is snow. Really dirty snow. Eventually, Chef returns after his relaxing break, but gets shocked when he sees this.
Hey, Chef, how's it going?
Howdy, Chef. How was your summer vacation?
Okay, everybody get in a line so I can whoop all your ass.
I've got a feeling he's gonna need another vacation after seeing this. Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls begins with Robert Redford deciding to move the Sundance Film Festival to a new small town. And of course it ends up being in South Park. Do these people not read the newspaper? This place is cursed! The first day of the festival kicks off and the place is filled with stuck-up Hollywood directors blocking traffic and disrupting the town. Fortunately for Chef, he sees an opportunity to open up his own food stand. He has plenty of fudge-related sweet treats, like Go Fudge Yourself, and of course...
I just went and fudged your mama.
Come on, Chef, too soon. I mean, Cartman's right there. Later that night, Kyle is surprised by the wails of Hanky the Christmas Pooh coming from the toilet. The next day, he hears Hanky again coming from the sewer, but the rest of the gang are more interested in Chef's latest creation.
Suck on my chocolate salty ball. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
Yeah, I can't see Hershey picking that one up. After Kyle convinces the boys that Hanky's in danger, they head down into the sewer and find their old friend who tells them that he's sick.
There's no folks in town eat nothing but couscous tofu, and it's destroying my environment.
See? Nobody cares for the magical poops anymore. At this rate, they'll become extinct. Hanky tells the boys to get rid of the visitors, but after telling the directors they think it's a pitch for a new movie, the town continues to be overrun, and everyone finally realizes that they sold out their own town. With no other choice, Kyle brings Mr. Hanky to the surface to prove he exists, but he dries up and is put on life support. Things are looking bleak, and I'm not just talking about a poop lying in a bed. But Chef then gives him one of his chocolate balls, reviving Hanky. He tries to talk the Hollywood crowd into leaving, but after Robert Redford splats him up a wall and Chef revives him again, Hanky decides to pull out his secret weapon.
Let's get out of this town!
That's right, he unleashes a Poonami! Chef has saved South Park many times, but in Chef Aid, it's he who needs saving. After a song called Stinky Britches becomes popular, Chef realizes that it's a song he wrote 20 years ago and that a record label must have stolen it. Chef and the boys head to the record producer, but it does not go well.
Mr. Chef, I'm afraid you leave me no alternative.
We're going to sue you.
You stole one of my songs, and you're gonna sue me?
Yes.
The sad thing is, this probably happens all the time in real life. Stan's dad becomes Chef's lawyer, but with Johnny Cochran, the lawyer who got OJ off, in the record producer's corner, they don't stand a chance.
Mr. Chef, you've been found guilty of harassing a major record label. $2 million will be handed over within 24 hours.
Chef's given 24 hours to go get the money, or he'll go to jail. The producer starts taking everything from Chef's house, but with nowhere close to $2 million, Chef is very depressed. Turns out that Chef was big in the rock scene back in the day, and after the producer tries to take away his prized photo album, he's had enough.
That does it. I'm gonna raise that $2 million, but I'm not gonna use it to pay you back. Hire Johnny Cochran myself and sue you.
You wouldn't.
Watch me.
A lawyer convincing people of one thing, then convincing them of the complete opposite is just wild. The boys visit Chef's old rock star buddies who remember him and buy candy bars to raise the funds. Meanwhile, Chef becomes the gigolo of Southpark to avoid jail time.
Like this very special device. I call it Chef's Pleasure Bag. Put this paper bag over your head, and it increases your pleasure.
Well, hell, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I don't think a paper bag is gonna make that any more tolerable. Unfortunately, time's up for Chef, and he gets locked up, but Elton John turns up with his friends to put on a charity gig.
I thought he said, bite the head off a bat. So I did. Oh, it's just history.
Ozzy Osbourne bit Kenny's head off. You bastard!
Man, Ozzy must get really hungry on stage. Sadly, the music producer sabotages the gig, and they once again fall short of the amount they need. But that's when Johnny Cochran decides to take on the case anyway, on account of how good the music was, earning Chef his freedom. At this point, Chef had established himself as the lovable voice of reason, whose love for women was only matched by his love for singing. But from season 3, he starts having his own issues, and the happy-go-lucky Chef begins to change. In The Succubus, Carmen is being terrorized by his doctors. The boys go to Chef for some advice. Problem is, Chef quit his job. They rush to find him and ask what's going on.
Children, 3 nights ago, I was checking out some books on Kama Sutra when I met the most amazing woman. She knew so much about so many things.
Yeah, I don't think that's a story for his future kids. It turns out this woman convinces Chef that relationships are all about talking and poetry. The guys get jealous that their friend is spending time with his new girlfriend, and worst of all, he's no longer the same man he used to be.
Meaningless is fun for 20 or 30 years, but after that, it starts to get old.
Wow, Chef settling down is probably the weirdest thing to happen in Southpark, and that is saying something. Chef promises the gang that he'll play ball with him after school, but he bails on them. And to make matters worse, Chef and Veronica announce they're getting married. Worried about their friend, the boys turn to Mr. Garrison for advice.
What's a succubus?
A succubus is a woman sent from hell to suck the life out of a man. Yeah, there's not much you can do about a succubus.
After finding out the bad news, they head to Chef's house, but the succubus is keeping him away. Later that day, Veronica makes a surprise visit to the boys, who tell her that Chef is a grown man who needs a life of his own. Pretty normal response, right? Well, not after this happens.
I'm going to marry Chef tomorrow.
And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Toodaloo.
Well, that's disturbing. The boys crash the rehearsal dinner and try to convince Chef that Veronica is actually a monster, but he gets angry and tells them to get lost. With no other choice, they hit the books and find out that the only way to stop a succubus is to sing her favorite song backwards.
Morning, I'll be who got theirs. Whoa, save that.
And with that, Chef is free from the spell and everything goes back to normal. Well, as normal as it can be. In the episode Chef Goes Nanners, the mentor is once again angry, but this time it's pretty understandable. Things start out with Chef and Jimbo talking to the mayor about the Southpark flag. Jimbo wants to keep it, but Chef thinks it's racist and wants it taken down.
I'll have my assistants hold up the flag, and you tell me what exactly you find racist about it.
Oh, man. The boys wanting to learn more go to Jimbo and Ned, who say that it's part of Southpark's history. Chef, on the other hand, tries to get supporters, but nobody cares about helping him. Understandably, Chef's upset, which is only made worse when Kyle and Stan tell him they think the flag should stay.
I never thought I'd live to see this many of the people I considered friends turn against me.
I mean, he's done so much for those kids. A protest breaks out and things get wild, including those infamous racist dudes in robes. The mayor tries to fix things by drawing a smiley face on the guy getting hanged, but surprisingly, Chef is still upset. Yeah, big shocker. After Jimbo and Ned decide that they don't want anything to do with the hooded freaks, they dress up and head out to their meeting to convince them to switch sides. While the plan works, there's a slight misunderstanding.
Oh, Jesus, the rope, Chef. This isn't what it looks like. You gotta listen to it.
This whole cracker-ass town can kiss my ass.
Chef was so upset he didn't notice the alien lurking by the tree. The next day, a big debate for the flag's future kicks off. It turns out that Stan and Kyle didn't realize it was racist and that it was just a dude killing another dude.
That is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Don't you see? All this time I thought these little crackers had turned racist. They were so not racist, they didn't even make a separation of black and white to begin with.
Now, knowing that the kids saw everyone the same, the town agrees the flag should be changed, bringing them together, even if the flag is still kind of racist. The next time Chef plays a major role in South Park is after Kenny's death, where his soul is trapped in Cartman's body after drinking his ashes. It turns out that having two souls is killing him, however, so Stan and Kyle turn to the only man they know to help.
It must be his time. I think it's running out.
The only people I know now who might be able to help Eric are my parents. We'll have to take the next flight to Scotland.
Cartman's running low on time, so they decide to go on an 8-hour flight. Makes sense. In Scotland, Chef and the gang waste no time in getting Cartman some help. Chef's mom and dad begin the ritual to get Kenny's soul to leave. Unfortunately, things hit a snag when Chef's dad asks where the victim child is. You know, a body for Kenny to take over. Of course, that's the one little detail Chef and Mrs. Cartman overlooked.
We're here!
Don't let her get in the road!
Oh, well.
I'm sure Kenny can live a full and fulfilling life as a pot roast. Chef's mom wraps up the pot roast and sends it home with him, but the problem is they forget to pick it up from the airport's baggage claim. They rush back to find him, but Rob Schneider got to him first.
He came across a pot roast, and his life changed forever. Now he's sharing his body with an 8-year-old boy. He's about to find out that being 8 ain't so great. Rob Schneider is Kenny.
At least Kenny's back. Kinda. You got effed in the A is a pivotal moment for Chef, as it's the last time he helps the boys out, and fittingly, one of his toughest challenges yet. The boys are playing with their remote-controlled cars when a group of kids walks up on them and challenges them to a dance-off. After the new kids throw down some moves, the gang goes to Chef to shed some light on what just happened.
It was just these kids we never saw before showed up and they were like really good dancers and...
Okay, relax, children. It's all over now. Just try to calm down and sit tight.
Wow, I did not think dancing was such a big deal. I'll be careful at the next party I go to now. When Stan's dad, Randy, finds out that he's been served, he begins training him in the art of dancing. The next day, the boys bump into the dancing crew, who once again throw down some serious moves, but Stan's prepared.
Yeah, go Stan!
Oh no! No, stop, Stan!
Chef explains that by dancing back, it leads to the new kids challenging them to a competition, and that's something the boys are not prepared for. Randy tries to call the whole thing off, but the coach of the dancing gang pulls off some killer moves, sending Randy to the hospital. Stan goes around South Park looking for kids that can dance, so the crew of misfits, it's Chef's job to whip them into shape.
Now, nobody's getting served if I can help it. Dig deep and pray that maybe the other team comes down with cancer.
Fingers crossed, I guess. Stan discovers that Butters is once a tap dancing pro and tries to convince him to join the troupe. Turns out that Butters accidentally got several people killed after his dance shoe knocked the stage lighting down. Unfortunate. The dance competition soon comes around, but the duck teammate twists its ankle. Looks like curtains for them, but that's when Butters turns up to save the day. Looks like it could be anyone's win, until this happens.
Jesus, not again! Ah! Get out of here!
Can somebody please tie this kid's laces? So as you've seen, the voice actor for Chef Isaac Hayes went along with some pretty crazy and even offensive storylines during his time on South Park. But there was one episode that really crossed the line for him. In fact, it upset him so much that it resulted in him walking away from the show, and Chef's good guy reputation was destroyed forever. The first episode that spelled the end for Chef was Trapped in the Closet, when Stan is invited to a free personality test. Unfortunately, it turns out to be a ploy to recruit people into Scientology.
Scientology is more of an alternative to psychology than a religion.
That sign says Church of Scientology.
I think he's lying. Turns out that Stan has abnormally high thetan levels, making everyone else in the church believe their founder, L. Ron Hubbard, has been resurrected. Eventually, Tom Cruise turns out to meet the prophet, but he doesn't like Stan's opinion of him.
You're not Gene Hackman or that guy that played Napoleon Dynamite, but you're okay.
I'm nothing. I'm a failure in the eyes of the prophet. Ah!
Hey! Dude, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Go away!
Yep, Tom Cruise is in the closet. Literally. Everyone tries to get Tom to come out, but no one can convince him. Eventually, Stan tells the Scientologists that their religion is baloney, prompting Tom Cruise and a couple of his Hollywood friends to come out of the closet.
You made me look stupid. I'm gonna sue you too.
Well, fine, go ahead and sue me.
You are so sued, kid.
Well, go on then, sue me!
So you may have noticed that Chef doesn't make an appearance in this episode, and it was for good reason too. Isaac Hayes was actually a member of Scientology in real life, and it was rumored that Hayes didn't like that South Park was making a mockery of his religion, but there might have been more to the story there. Before we get into the real reason why Hayes left, we need to take a look at the last time Chef went on down to South Park, and how Trey and Matt responded to their falling out by turning Chef's love for the boys really dark. The return of Chef begins by explaining how Chef leaves South Park after getting bored with his life, so he joined something called the Super Adventure Club. At this point, Hayes had already left after the Trapped in the Closet episode, so the team used old audio clips to voice him. Well, except for this.
Goodbye, Chef. Have a great time with the Super Adventure Club.
Goodbye.
Oh man, they did him dirty. With Chef gone, life in South Park goes back to normal, but that's when Chef turns up at the door. Problem is, there's something odd about Chef, and I'm not just talking about the one-word audio files they used to voice him.
Well, how about I meet you boys after work and we can make love?
Excuse me?
Come on, children. You're my fantasy. Let's all make sweet love.
That's right. In response to the falling out, Matt and Trey decided to make Chef a complete weirdo. A detective turns up telling them that Chef was always a pervert, but the boys don't believe it, even with the strange things he's saying. Kyle plans on discovering why their friend is acting weird, so they head to the Super Adventure Club and they get their answer. They are all like it. They believe that Chef is just brainwashed and try to fix him.
Oh, Chef has always been super cool.
I'm gonna make love to the children.
He's pretty brainwashed, all right. Worst case I've ever seen.
Well, that's not how the song goes. The boys take Chef to a strip club and manage to break the spell, but at that moment, Chef and the boys get captured by the evil club. Thanks to Kyle's baseball bat, they manage to escape, but that's when Chef makes a decision that changes everything.
I'm sorry, children.
No, Chef, they filled your head with lies. Can't you see that?
Oh!
Chef!
And if that wasn't bad enough, he gets impaled, shot, and ripped apart by a mountain lion and a bear. Not the greatest end to an iconic character, I must admit. By the end of the episode, the people of South Park say their goodbyes. In fact, Kyle makes a speech about feeling hurt that Chef betrayed them and, I quote, are mad that the fruity little club scrambled his brains. This is obviously Matt and Trey addressing the Scientology fallout with Hayes in the most South Park way possible. But it's not so cut and dry. In 2006, Hayes had a stroke and his son claimed that the people on his team, some of whom were Scientologists, made the decision for him to leave the show. I mean, sure, Hayes wasn't happy with how South Park made a mockery of his religion, but he also said that he understood what Matt and Trey were doing. Sadly, Isaac Hayes passed away just 2 years later, meaning Chef will probably never come back as he was, although a version of him still survives in the show.
Hello there, children. How would you like some Salisbury steak? And for dessert, to suck on my chocolate salty balls.
You mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Yes!
Talk about turning to the dark side.